I'm LJ, and I just recently made a video where I built this thing. And it doesn't show up super great on video here, but in case you're wondering what this is, it is the Tesseract from the Marvel movies, and it has a little light inside like you just saw, trying to change the batteries. But I feel like since I'm building like Loki props, might as well not stop there and build Loki's horns. And so that video was an instructional video, and this video is more for entertainment purposes, but if you want to, you can follow the steps in this video that I took to make your own Loki. I've watched a couple videos on how to do this, and the first step is always take a piece of cardboard or two pieces of like cardstock or like real thick paper, and use reference photos to trace out the design of Loki's horn. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Grab a nice little cereal box to make my base out of. It's white on the inside, which is pretty nice. And that's what we're going to use. So this side here should be big enough for me to do the tracing on. Okay, so I finished the outline here, and now that I'm done with this, I am going to go on and cut out the outline. Alright, so I finished this. It's looking alright. I mean, right now it looks a little ridiculous. Once it's painted and all assembled, it'll look pretty good though. But the next step on this is, if you look at this picture here, there is kind of like a crest emblem in his, like in the middle of the helmet. So we're gonna be working on that next. Finish the pieces for the little crest or whatever that thing would be called. So this is what the pieces look like, and basically the way this one works is it has these wedges in it, because you can see it's more of a 3D object, so that we can have it at an angle like it is in the picture. And then this, I either will or won't use this. I mean, that's how stuff works, but this would go kind of right in here in the middle. It's bent because, as you can see, that's how it is in the picture, the reference that I have. So I'm going to go ahead and glue these together, and we'll see how that goes. So I put together this piece, and it looks pretty good. So if we grab this, it's flat right now, but we can bend it a little bit, and we put it here. That looks pretty good. Though it is hollow. Actually, it won't be hollow on the top. It'll stay flush, which is really, really nice. So far this thing is going completely to plan. Basically what I need to do now is I need to glue that on, and then I need to find a wire to strengthen the back, and then I need to do the horns and the elastic on the back, and that is all, and I will be finished. Which it sounds like a lot, but it's really not. It's really not. So it should be done by tomorrow, because I'm having to do paper mache with the horns. Alright, so I put a wire in the back, you can see here, and I glued this to the front, which is looking pretty good. And I scaled it up to fit my face, and it still looks ridiculous now. It'll probably look ridiculous even when it's finished. But I'm more gonna use this for like a decoration. So I put it up on a shelf somewhere and just kind of have it. Kind of like my Captain America shield up here that you saw earlier, or the LA that was in the first clip. Which, by the way, if you want to watch that video, I'll put like wherever it is, like a card up here. You can click on that and watch that video. That one was pretty cool. But this is starting to look pretty good. Like if you ask, hey, what is this? People would say, oh, that's Loki's horns. Granted, it doesn't have any horns on it yet. So now that we have that, it is time to start working on the actual horns. So let's go. So basically the way that the horns are gonna work is I have this piece of tin foil, and how we're gonna do it, saw this in one of the videos I watched earlier, is that we're gonna take it and we're gonna compress it pretty good and form it into a horn. And so that's what I'm gonna do here. Alright, well, I'd say that that is the first horn done. We can look at it here on the thing, and that looks pretty good. And so now we are going to go to the next one. Woohoo! Alright, and that is the second horn done. So now we have 2 horns here. And on this thing, that's gonna look pretty gosh dang good. So the next step with these is to do paper mache with them. And that I've never done paper mache before, which is actually pretty surprising. So we're gonna get right into that. Alright, so it's a bit of a mess here right now, but basically the way that paper mache works is that it is 2 parts white glue and 1 part water. So I have that mixture in this bowl here, and what we do is we take paper towels and we take our horns, which I forgot to grab before I started filming, gosh freaking dang it. But after this, what we do is we take a paper towel, dip it in the mixture, get it completely soaked, and then lift the wet, soggy mixture out, squeeze somehow, and we just wrap it around this thing. A couple layers, so like 2-3 layers around. And so when this is done, it'll still be a little bit lumpy. So like this is so it's all smooth and like doesn't come apart. But once this dries, it'll be pretty hard. It'll be hard, and we'll be able to sand down the lumps. So without further ado, I'm gonna switch to a time lapse, and this is just gonna keep going. Alright, and that is the first horn done. It is a bit bulkier than when I sand it down, it'll be better. So I'm gonna set that there on the floor, and I'm going to clean up my workspace a little bit here. But I have the second horn done. Okay, so in the photo here, on my photo face shield, so like this part here, it's like a little bit raised, and so I made these. I need to cut them out, but to put there in glue, so I'm gonna do that now. With that, we have the sides of the mask elevated just a tiny bit, but you have to notice. I can move on to painting this. Okay, so for painting this, I have this gold metallic paint, and that's what I'm going to be using. So, these paper towels that we use for the paper mache, and we're going to get to painting. That it's still a little bit wet in some places, but we have the finished thing, and this metallic paint is not as shiny as I wish it would be, but it's good enough. So I'm gonna go wash my hands, and this paintbrush, wait for the horns to dry. They still have another couple hours on it. Alright, so it is currently the next day, and the horns are dry. I sanded them down to get them as smooth as I can get them. They're still a bit rough, but I'm hoping the paint will deal with that I also may have used a little bit of fire, so you might want to just stick to sandpaper. But the paper was being frustrating, so I tried to use fire, and it actually worked all right. So I'm gonna go into painting these and then glue them onto this. So I'm gonna start painting now. Alright, so I repainted this with a lighter gold because the other gold dried up and I wasn't able to use it anymore, but now I have the horns painted. They're not the smoothest, but it'll still look alright on the helmet, crown, whatever it is. So the crown is still drying, but that looks pretty good. So I'm gonna wait for these to be completely dry. And then if you look at the picture here again for the third time, you can see that there's kind of like little rings around the base of the horns. And so I need to put those together before I glue the horns on, so that I know the correct sizes. So once this is dry, I will work on that. Alright, so I have this all put together. The last step is to put elastic on the back so I don't have to like hold it up to my face. But so far, like, that looks pretty legit. So like, you can see here the horns aren't super smooth, but from a distance it looks awesome. So like, I'm probably just gonna display it on a shelf or something. The only thing is these the horns are pretty heavy for the flimsy frame, but besides that, this thing is phenomenal. So I'm going to put the elastic on the back, which should be pretty easy, and I'm finished. And with that, my Loki horns are done. These turned out way better than I thought they were. So like, from close up, they look weird, but out far, it looks pretty nice. So I'm probably just gonna find a nice place on a shelf somewhere in here. I have this hand here. Right now I have it holding a pair of pink sunglasses, but I'm wondering if I can have it hold these. So that's an option, but basically, let me show you what I did. So I attached the elastic. What I did for that was I cut slits in here, and I tried hot glue first, and that didn't really work, so I sewed it on really badly, but it still works, so that's nice. And the elastic is a bit big. I found a smaller black one while I was looking for thread, but I mean, that looks pretty legit. And then with the whole emblem on the front here, I really like it. But anyway, thanks for watching, and comment down below what I should build next.